Hi, welcome to our gut protocol call. Thank you so much, Jess, for offering to do this. I'm so excited. So I'm really looking forward to doing the gut protocol. I've really struggled with gut issues a lot of my life and food allergies. And so I'm looking forward to this to kind of get back on track and um, have feel better and have a healthier gut. And it can be a little overwhelming. So Jess has agreed to share some tips and tricks with us. And so I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Jess. And go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks, Jesse. I'm Jess, and I have had a lot of success from 2B Mindset and from Gut Protocol. I lost up to 55 pounds on 2B Mindset, and I lost 18 pounds in 4 weeks on Gut Protocol. And so um, I know both programs work. I feel like 2B Mindset is like a daily practice, and Gut Protocol is kind of more like a quarterly reset your body, especially if like after the holidays or after a vacation, if you've like really been kind of binging out on food you don't normally eat. So I'll try to make this quick because it's a lot of information, but I'll just start. I'm going to share my screen. Um, Give me 1 second. So the one thing that I wanted to show the most was the meal planning spreadsheet. Um, and the reason that I wanted to show this is because going from 2B mindset to gut protocol, it can seem like a lot of food. Um, and my first day of eating the gut protocol food, I realized like I tried to eat it in 3 meals because that's kind of how I was going with 2B mindset. I would have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the plate it method. And I could not get all the food in. Like I was so full. And so that's going to be probably a little bit of an adjustment. At first, is that you're going to feel really full and like it's so much food. And so I recommend if you're feeling that way to like spread it out. But this is based on Plan B. And can you still see the spreadsheet or can you see the folder now?
I can see the spreadsheet still.
Okay.
Yeah, the
All
Excel.
right. So when you sign up for Gut Protocol and you go into resources, there's going to be a document called it's target calories, and you're going to figure out based on your weight and some other calculations what your target calories are. And I will show this the little the PDF in it after we look at the spreadsheet. But once you figure out what your target calories, and these are all based on macros, which again, Alana doesn't do, but it's a simple way of doing macros because it's just the measurement. And so then you are placed into a plan. And so this spreadsheet is based off of Plan B, which I think the majority of people fit into based on their target calorie goal after doing the equation in the resources tab. So make sure you do that first. And Plan B, as you can see, you're going to be eating six, and this is 6 green containers, which is 1 cup of vegetables, 2 cups of fruit. Protein is 3/4 of a cup. So there's 2 3/4 of a cup of meat-based protein. There's also a vegan menu plan. None of this is for that. This is all for inclusion of meat. So if you are meatless, there is a plan in there, and you can go look it up because it does change the ratios of protein just a little bit. This protein B is, and this is part of Gut Protocol. It's not part of Autumn's Fixate program. It's the plant-based protein. So things like beans or quinoa, there is a food list that will show all that. And then there is carb A, which she has a list of, and then carb B, there is a list of. And then as we go over here. So you get basically 3 carb portions a day, 1 portion of nuts, one portion of seeds and fats, and then 4 teaspoons of oil, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you start using these and you start using the container system, it's a ton, um, which is always what kind of shocked me. So how I plan my food out, because some of these changes can be a little overwhelming. The way I simplified it was I planned my breakfast, my lunch, and my snack, and I would eat the same thing every day. And the reason I did that was because it made it easier for planning. And then I could get a little more creative with dinner because I wasn't just feeding myself, I was feeding my son. So for vegetables in the morning, I would take chicken sausage and frozen cauliflower. There's a mix at Trader Joe's, and I would throw it in the air fryer and I would eat that because I put vegetables in my first meal because 6 portions, 6 cups of veggies can be a lot to eat. And I wanted to start getting them out of the way like right away. And the reason I do the mix is because part of the plan is that you eat 30 different plants a week. And so with the cauliflower mix from Trader Joe's, it comes with purple, green, and white cauliflower. So those are each their own type of plant. I'd have half apple, chicken, sausage, and then you can have gluten-free oats, which Trader Joe's also sells. And this probably sounds like a huge advertisement for that store. Alana's also a big fan, but I would shop at Trader Joe's and anything they didn't have. If you live here in West Seattle, Whole Foods is right next door, and I would go get the rest right after I left TJ's. So, and then I often used the 2B peanut butter powder instead of actual peanut butter because it goes farther. And these are some of like just the tricks that I did with it. So for like lunch, I would have a Greek salad that would be 2 cups of vegetables, the other half of the apple, quinoa. I really loved, I always felt like I was eating 2 carbs at lunch because I would get this protein carb here, plant-based protein, which is a carb, and then you get the regular carb. And I did potatoes a lot and I would just throw them in the air fryer. Like I probably threw everything in the air fryer. So if you have an air fryer, it is going to be your lifesaver here. And then in my Greek salad, because I was used to putting feta in there, I started putting sunflower seeds and olives to kind of give it a little bit of, it wasn't a cheese replacement, but it was a treat compared to not having
Mhm.
the cheese. And then my snack was just carrots and snow peas and hummus. And then I would do Shakeology with frozen milk in it. And then I would use just water in my Shakeology. So I just want to show you, um, so 30 plants in 1 week. Just day one, with all of those different things, like my mixed greens have 3 different, at the minimum, usually most mixed greens will have 5 different types of lettuce in it. So I could get 3 to 5 plants out of one thing. My olives, capers, I put in the Greek salad. Lemon juice, I would put on the Greek salad. I also would add chickpeas. So, like day one, I could get, and then this is my fruit that went into the Shakeology, and it was a mixed bag. And it also had 4 different kinds of fruit. So by day one, I could get up to 25 plants because rice is a plant. Like all these things we don't even think of as being a plant. If it grew out of the ground, you could put it on there. And then I would plan my dinner. I would try to keep things fairly simple. I would during 2B mindset, I did the same practice of where you would, like, I would plan a normal, if I was doing something new, I would plan out what I would normally eat, and then I would just tweak things to be to whatever the plan was. So like if you were eating spaghetti normally, like let's say you make spaghetti for your family once a week, um I would make the same thing. Rayo's spaghetti sauce doesn't have any sugar in it. It's considered, I believe it's considered a plant if you use that brand that doesn't have sugar added in. in the gut protocol program. But I would, make spaghetti like I normally would, and then I would maybe just like make a different kind of pasta for my son. Although there were nights I didn't feel like doing that, and I just gave him the chickpea pasta or the lentil pasta that I was making, and he really loved it. He's 14 years old. I told him that we were doing this again, and he was super excited about the food portion. So, and then this again is like, I didn't put the numbers here, but so I would just calculate the numbers in these columns here just to make sure I was getting all 6 in and all 2 as I was planning. And this seemed to be the fastest way for me to plan. This Franken beans recipe is a recipe from Autumn's Fixate, and it's one protein A and a half of a protein B. So here I only used a half a portion of the quinoa. And this seems complicated, but as you start to do it, it gets really easy, and it starts to go a lot faster. I highly recommend this Franken beans recipe to you if you have kids. They love it. Some things I had to buy that I didn't usually have was Primal Kitchen makes a ketchup that doesn't have sugar added. It's actually really good. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but it was good. Maple syrup is what I used for sweetener because it had the least amount of grams of sugar per volume. Because on the plan you're only allowed 10 grams of added sugar a day. Um, so these are just the other days. Jesse will share this spreadsheet if you want to use it. Here I've got like tacos set up. So again, for my vegetable, I would do a slaw because if you buy the slaw, it's already cut up, it's saving you time. It's already a little complicated that you're doing this different type of food style. And the slaw has red cabbage, green cabbage, and carrots in it. So that's 3 more vegetables. So, like, as you can see on the spreadsheet, I will go back up here. So by day 1, I hit, and I would track the plants over here as I was planning. I hit 25 vegetables. Day 2, I hit 28, and day 3, I hit 30, and I wouldn't even track after that. Like once I hit the goal and was like, okay, this is what the plan is, I don't need to write these in the columns over here. But I think sometimes I probably got up to 40, 45 different plants. Um, if you're not big on vegetables yet and this is new to you, like topping things with green onions or chives or cilantro, those are all plants. It's a really big trick. Like it's just kind of like adding something small, but it's counted towards the plant count. And I don't know if you can hear my dog digging in her kennel. Okay, good.
No.
It's blocked it out. So down here I just left these blank because if we had time, I was gonna like set up a dinner that maybe Jessie normally makes for her family, so I could show her how I would, transform it over um to gut protocol, but I just wanted to share some of these resources really quick. So let me go to the folder. Um, and I have the preview pane turned on. Okay, so chicken a la keen is in the gut protocol. So this was one thing I did. I made my normal food every day of the week, and then one night I would pick a new recipe from the app because I wanted to try something new that I had never tried before. And you don't have to do this, but it, like, was a huge treat for me to try something that I hadn't had before, and my son ended up really liking a lot of the food we had, but this one is, like, almost an Alfredo sauce, but it's made with cauliflower, and it's quite amazing on how good it tastes. He doesn't like mushrooms, and he didn't like it has, oh, I can't seem to figure out how to get this. Hold on. I have this in a different view than I normally do. It has, I'm just gonna pull up the picture. It has red peppers in it. He doesn't like those, so I actually switched the vegetables out, but the recipe Turned out great. This is a recipe she came out with later on that was chicken fried steak. I have not made this yet, but I do have it on my goal list to make for the first week because it looks really good. Um, this is the target calorie. I cannot seem how to get this to expand into this view on this page, but this is where you'll come in and you'll put in your weight and you'll do these mathematic equations. And then um, if you're trying to gain weight, which some people do, like if they're building muscle, there are different plans for that. And here, this is probably a really bad way I'm showing this. I'm sorry, Jesse. I just can't figure out how to get the screen to show all the way with the zoom on. But this is plan B right here, so you can see, and this is, you can track this in the app if you want to use the app, but there is also this fun daily journal that you can talk about your sleep, your mood, your energy. You can track your containers right here. If you don't want to use the spreadsheet and you're like, that's too much, and you plan things a different way, this is a really good way to track it. I didn't need to do this part because I prepped and ate all my food according to my spreadsheet. So I knew I was getting everything in. And then there's a tracker here for your 30 plants a week. And then again, you're kind of like checking on how you're feeling. There is, I don't know if I downloaded it. Um, there is a stool chart that comes with the tracker and kind of tells you. It doesn't look like I downloaded it. And then she has this resource in there that's all of her fixate recipes that are gut protocol approved. And so it just gives you more of um, an expansive way of eating if you are getting burnt out or sick of the food that you're eating all day long. Let's see. I had a list of things. I think that's it. So that's all I've got. I just encourage you to stick with it. Oh, the one thing I didn't talk about was caffeine. So she asks you to reduce your caffeine down to 3 days a week and no more than 100 milligrams of coffee. You can still have 100 milligrams of caffeine every day, but no more than 3 days a week for actual coffee. So two of the ways I got around that was I started doing matcha lattes, which are really hard for people to get used to. The trick for it is to use unsweetened coconut milk, which is counted as 1 teaspoon of oil. I used that and mint extract, a vanilla extract, and a tablespoon of maple syrup in the matcha. And it's actually pretty good. It's not so um, ground tasting. The other thing I did is I found this coffee on Amazon that is equivalent a cup of it. It's like got quarter of the caffeine in the beans. And so a cup of it was equivalent to a quarter of regular coffee. So if I wanted coffee really bad, I would drink that. But I think it has more to do with the acidic levels in it. And you can, of course, always drink the Energize, but it does add to your sugar count for the day if you are a coffee drinker. Um, I think that was probably the biggest adjustment was not having the coffee. But what I realized was by day 4, I had insane amounts of energy because even though I was drinking coffee in the morning and I had a rule I don't drink past noon, I wouldn't sleep as good because I had drinking the caffeine. And I recently read a book about the neurology about that and how like the body will intentionally do the opposite of whatever you put into it is supposed to do. So, like if you're a caffeine drinker, it's supposed to make you more tired than actually wake you up. So it was a huge eye-opening experience to see how much energy I ended up getting. My hair grew in really fast. My finger, like I was getting gel dip on my fingernails, which I stopped doing because my fingernails grew so fast from eating this way that I was like, I just didn't want to keep up with it because it was going from like an every other week redo to like I was needing to have the gel redipped once a week. So those are some things that I noticed. The hair part's really nice. Your hair grows in thick, it grows in fast, and you get a ton of energy from the lack of caffeine and I think all the real food you're putting into your body.
That's amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm super excited.
Me too. I am really excited. And if you're a bread person, there is a bread recipe. So there's a bread recipe in there. I actually haven't made it yet, but I'm going to this time around because it looks really good. And from all the people I know that did gut protocol, they really love it. So,
Awesome. Well, let me know
yeah.
how it is.
Yes, I will.
Yay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time and all your tips and tricks. And if anybody wants the spreadsheet, I can share that with you. Any questions you have, definitely reach out, and you are not alone in this. You know, we're all doing this together. And so um, don't feel like there's any questions that you have that you can't ask. So it's all new. And yeah, I'm very excited. So thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah, did you want to do one of your dinners on the spreadsheet
Oh, yeah, let's do
since
it.
we have a little bit of time?
We do spaghetti. I mean, we do spaghetti a lot.
Okay. I'm trying to find the share screen. All right, so like for spaghetti, if it's a sauce that doesn't have any added sugar, which she will recommend you to use, she also recommends that you not use things like vegan cheese or like vegan yogurt because a lot of those things can have additives in them that are really hard on your gut. And then nothing with artificial sweeteners because the artificial sweetener can affect your healthy gut bacteria. I think she talks about this. I need to rewatch the videos. So I'm just going to say, so for your green vegetable, if you use an unsweetened, which the Rayo's at Costco, you can get two jars of it for $10, which is really inexpensive compared to like Whole Foods. Um, it would count as the vegetable just because it doesn't have the sugar. So I'm just gonna put spaghetti sauce here. And then you would have whatever protein, like I use the beans meatballs for my spaghetti meatballs because they're really easy and they're really flavorful. And I actually take them raw, rolled up, and throw them I cook them raw in the air fryer. And the air
Awesome.
fryer cooks them really well. So I'm just gonna put chicken meatballs. Does that work?
Yeah.
And then that will be your last protein for the day. And then um I shared this in the group, but like you can use miracle noodles that would count as a vegetable. You can use spaghetti squash like you normally would. One thing that's different about Autumn stuff versus Alana's is that Autumn counts butternut squash as a vegetable. She counts any winter squash as a vegetable, and Alana counts butternut squash as a carb, as a
Mm,
full fiber carb. So if you like the noodle, you can buy the butternut squash noodles from the grocery store. If you like those, that's a great replacement. I personally really love the chickpea pasta that they sell at Whole Foods. And then there's also a lentil pasta. She does talk about being careful that like you're not buying something that has a bunch of other ingredients in it. So read the ingredients, but here I'm just going to put chickpea pasta and it's has a lot of protein in it. Um, and there's your meal.
awesome.
And if you wanted, like, let's say you wanted a salad or a vegetable, I know that you guys like the kids love the roasted broccoli at your house, Jesse, and you
Mhm.
could like just reduce your afternoon snack down to like one, maybe 1 cup, and do 2 cups of the spaghetti squash of the do broccoli and the spaghetti squash. So this would be 2. But dinner seems to be the easiest to plan once you get the first 3 figured out, because you can just add in what you don't have and then like maybe take some things out. And I would just pull this up on my phone and look at it in the morning to see what, remind myself of what I had going on. And then I do 5 days at a time no matter what. Because I do shop at Trader Joe's a lot, and this is probably their biggest complaint is their vegetables go bad really fast. So, I've always shopped 5 days at a time because it just works better for me. But on Alana or on Gut Protocol, I also used a lot of frozen vegetables and just threw them in the air fryer to save me time, because I just didn't always have time to cut and wash, because I was eating so much more.
Yeah, yeah, makes it much easier.
Yeah, and it sounds weird, but air fryer frozen vegetables cook great in the air fryer. They have these carrot coins at Trader Joe's that are just really, really good in there. All right, that's all I got.
I'm gonna try it for sure.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been awesome and super helpful, and I am so excited.